Hello and welcome to how I play my level 80 mage. So let's get right into this. This video builds upon all the other videos. If you want to see how it ends up at the very end, watch the 125 video. But we're going to go over spells. We're going to go over some changes to the multi-bind. For the most part, nothing else has changed. So let's just get right into it. So we are currently using Bolt of Molten Dross. This is our current nuke. It does 4100 damage. I like this one. There's a magic based one and a another fire based one, but I prefer this one. I like the big hits. I don't know. It's just the way I like to play. I mean, what is this? I hit the combat dummy for 266, but it was a crit, and it's less damage than that. Wow, okay, let's try that again. I'm just like surprised there we go. A normal hit 5,000, and must have been like a partially resisted. Some of these are like raid equivalent, I guess that was fully resisted. Yeah, jeez, just look at this guy. There we go. There's a crit for 16,000. I like the big numbers, that's why I run it. It's a good spell. Next up, we have Fickle Pyroclasm. Now, this spell got changed, I believe, at this level at 80. So when we cast this now, if we cast it, you'll see that there is a 5-second recast time. Now, this spell is nice because it gives you a chance to get, I can't even remember the name of the proc. It's like Flames. There it is, right there. Flames of Power. Now, this is a really nice spell because, one, Fickle Pyroclasm does nice damage, right? It's doing about the same as the Bolt. But, but it has a chance to give this, which then, when I do Bolt, should do significantly more damage. There we go, a 21,000 crit, and consume that charge. Now, you kind of see the synergy going on there, the way that's working. All right, next I have Rancorous Servant, which is just our current level Swarm Pet. Just send that out there, right? He does, you know, crazy amounts of damage, like 800, 700, 1700. Like it's insane damage how much these little Swarm Pets do. And I do that on cooldown. Later on, the Conjurer's Synergy at 105 is the Servant spell, so be used to casting that a lot. That's where a lot of our DPS comes from as a mage. And then we have a new spell in our lineup here, Shock of Many, and this is the first of the spell line that is solely based on the number of pets attacking the mob at the current time. Now, I'm multi-boxing, right? So I have my pet, so that's 1. I have another mage, that's 2 pets. Each of those has a swarm pet, that's 4. Now I have a Shadow Knight pet and a Shadow Knight pet, what the hell's Shaman pet, and a Beast Lord pet, and a Beast Lord Swarm pet. That I think is 8. I think that's 8. That's 8 pets from what I can tell, pretty much at all times. Now, if we look at this and see how much damage this spell does, if everybody's attacking with 8 pets, 7 or more active pets, 13,000 damage. And, you know, with a crit, that's going to be like 23,000 damage. With the Flames of Power, it's even more, right? That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So we have that in the multi-bind now too. And I didn't know what to put in this next spot, so I put Rain. The problem with Rains is they hit me and they make me cause damage. And you can kind of see where this is going, right? Like if I stand over here and I do this, right? Hopefully I get hit. You can kind of see these. So I took a little damage there. But if I start getting crits on the rain damage, it doesn't look like it's going to cast again. I don't know why I thought it was going to like, it used to do it like waves, but now it doesn't, like a single shot, I guess. I don't know. That time it didn't hit me, but sometimes it hits me and that doesn't hit everybody. So it's not as useful as I would think it'd be. I just didn't know what to put in that slot for right now. And then we have Core of Water, which is our current water pet. I'm currently using water pets. And then I have Hungry Flames, Searing Skin, and Burning Brim Body. Now these are all kind of interlinked, right? Brim Burning Body is a kind of almost like a damage shield that does extra damage to attacking creatures, right? So it's like a damage shield. And then Hungry Flames is a super damage shield, 10 strikes. And then Searing Skin is the same thing, but only 4 strikes. These two do not stack. And Hungry Flames is the better of the two. But when I just recently found out that this Brim Body does not stack with the Shadow Knight. Where's the Shadow Knight? Shadow Knight Umbral Skin spell line. So I literally figured it out during the video. I had noticed that it wasn't stacking, and so some of this is kind of subject to change right now. But kind of what I was doing is I was casting Burning Brim Body, Hungry Flames, Hungry Flames. If it stacks, right? Like, it doesn't go on if the other spell is on. There we go. So those are on, right? It is what it is. It just adds extra damage. I don't cast it enough for it to do a lot, but it's something I try to do. So it's there. These 3 spells are 100% subject to change, and from going from 80 to 85, this is where we're at right now. Then I have Mass Prime Transvergence, which is the current level mod rod. Right here you can see takes 1,000 health for 800 mana, so it's pretty nice. And then I have Call a Hero and Prime Symbiosis. Prime Symbiosis is our pet conversion mana regen spell. It only lasts for... I don't even see it on my bar now. It doesn't last that long, 10 minutes, so you got to kind of recast it quite a bit. But it is what it is. Now, spell-wise, that's all I use, right? I mostly use what's in the multi-bind. I don't go outside that. The only thing I do is I buff the pet with Wrath Strength, which is the level 70 aura. And then I buff Circle of Lava Skin if we need damage shield. I do Ice Flame Tenement if it is down. That's just a pet buff that gives the pet a damage shield and a melee absorption. And then Burnout, what is that, 7? Which is the current Burnout. Keep that on the pet at all times. You can see there it is like a 2-hour buff, so you don't have to really cast it too often. But it is haste and all that good stuff for a pet, so you want to have that on there at all times. Spell bar wise, like all this is the same. The short duration, I literally just have it set up to cast those 3 DSs plus Prime Symbiosis. All that's subject to change by the next video. Now that I realize that some of this stuff isn't stacking the way I thought it was. Then for the multi-bind, which is this bar right here, we have Host Elements still, which is our AA Swarm Pet. Then we have our Rancorous Servant, which is the next Swarm Pet. And then we have Shock of Many. And then we have Fickle Pyroclasm. And we have Bolt of Molten Duress. So the concept here is that I want to get all my pets out. And while he's attacking, right, 4 or 5 is the multi-bind, right? Everybody else has their pets out. So all 8 pets are already on there, plus the swarm pets to get added via AAs to get on there. And now Shock of the Many is going to do maximum damage. So we're going to cast that. Then we're going to go into Fickle. Now, the way the timing works on this, Bolt will get cast, and then we'll get Shock of the Many, and then we'll get another Shock of the Many. So the way the timing works, Bolt gets cast every other time from what I can see in the testing that I did, which seems about right. I'm not losing much DPS from Fickle because it does almost the same amount of damage as the Bolt, right? Like, it's close. It's not 100%, but it's close enough. and it's more mana efficient too. So I mean, casting Bolt probably is, waste of time in some of the sense, because it is a faster cast time and it's way less mana. But it will proc that Flames of Power or whatever it was that will buff either Shock of the Many or Bolt of the Molten Dross. So it works out pretty well when it comes down to it, right? Mobs just die. I have 2 mages, mobs are just dying. It's crazy how much damage is coming out of these guys. So is that, and then I have a Servant of Ro, which summons a level 81 pet that casts the Servant of Ro, does for 3900 damage every 3 seconds, I guess. Pretty crazy. And then Companion Shielding just to buff the pet. Companion's Necessity, which summons a pet that does area taunts, kind of saves the tank a little bit in certain situations. And then Turn Summoned, which only works on summoned creatures, so there's no DPS loss having that in the multi-bind that I can see. It just skips over it because it doesn't do anything. And all the AAs get activated at once anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, so that's all of that. Nothing else has changed there. Nothing's really changed here. All this is the same. So we can talk about gear. Now, since this character was my level 121... Well, yeah, 121 Necromancer, he'd already done the quest for the Paragon gear. So the Paragon gear, it comes from achievements. These quests here in Seeds of Destruction that are off the hero's journey. And you do the quest, you get some achievements, right? So you do the Army of Light stuff, and wham, bam, you get, some Paragon gear. Paragon gear is equivalent to the Underfoot final tier or the House of Thule tier 1. So you can kind of see here, it's close, right? Like the other stuff's better, but it's close enough that it's decent, right? I'm not using, what is this is the TBM tier 1 stuff, and it's only 200 hit points with no AC. The focus stuff's better, but it is what it is, right? This is going to work to get me to the next tier, right? So this will get me to, 85. And then at 85, you can go to the Marks of Valor Merchant in Western Korea. You can buy at 85 more Underfoot gear that's 1,000 hit points. And then at 90, you can buy the tier 4, 1,500 hit point-ish stuff for House of Thule. So you got some options there. You can also do House of Thule and progress through each armor line, right? So in House of Thule, you have to collect these tokens, right? So these are the tier 1 tokens. You collect these plus a potion, and you put them in a container, click combine, you get a piece of armor. I don't see this. I don't think this lady has any. I think the Beast Lord has one. So yeah, the Beast Lord has the tier 1. So you get this tunic here. So this is tier 1 Beast Lord gear, which is 1,000 hit points. Then you take the tier 1 gear or a token from a vendor that costs 10,000 platinum, plus the tier 2 token. You combine those together, you get the tier 2 item, right? So that is a way to progress through there. That goes all the way up to tier 4 throughout House of Thule, and we'll see how far we get through that. I've done a few groups through House of Thule, and it's hit or miss on how many tokens you get for all the different armor. So I focus on the tank and the healer, and then everybody else is secondary. So it depends on what they get, right? So we'll see how that goes. But gear wise, that's kind of the direction we're going to be going. We're going to be checking at 85 to see if the gear from, what is it called, the tower is any good for these non-visible slots. I don't think it's going to be, but we'll take a look. The Paragon earring, you can get a summoning one for pets, and it's enhanced minion 5, which is equivalent to the House of Thule tier 1 from the guy in Verant that drops it, right? This chips of shards of dread. So those are equivalent. So you're not really missing out much there when it comes to that. So you can, I feel like House of Thule at 80 is where you need to jump in and start farming gear to kind of do that. So it's kind of like where I'm going to be going, right? I do have some tokens here. It's like all I could find. I thought I had more, but I guess I didn't. So I'm going to be farming names. That's kind of going to be the focus moving forward for the next 10 levels, because we're going to stay in House of Thule, I think, until 90 plus, and we'll just keep farming tokens until we have a full set, stuff like that, and then we'll move over to Vale of Alaris and stuff like that. But I that's just the direction we're gonna have to go for this, and replacing all these with the proper gear for the expansion, plus the non-visual items, right, like the earrings and the necklaces and cloaks and all that stuff. Weapons wise, we're gonna want to move to a two-hander with a sympathetic proc that does damage. Oh god, I just had it. I just looked at it when I was at the vendor. Is it there? No, I just looked at it. There's a two-hander that you can get in House of Thule. The usable at level 90 that does a 700 proc. So every time I cast a spell, I have a chance to proc that on the mob without meleeing. So this, what we want to kind of aim for, we want to be using two-handers as soon as we can. Now, if we start having mana regen problems, we will have to fall back to a shield with one of the mana regen augs in it, and I think I think this one here. This one, like this dagger has like one of those effects, right? It has a chance to recover mana when casting spells. There's one of these you can get that does damage on proc when casting spells, right? It's called like sympathetic whatever damage or whatever it's called. So you want to kind of get those if you're going to use the shield. But there is another one that procs a mana regen one. So there's a lot of options when it comes to weapons and stuff as we're leveling up from this point on. But a lot of this, the non-visual stuff kind of stays kind of the same. You can just get those. They don't all have clickables now. If we look at some of which one is it? No, I don't think any of the Paragon stuff actually has a clickable on it, does it? Yeah, so let's look at the shoulders right here. So these shoulders here that my Beast Lord has, they you right click them, you get an AA that gives you mana and HP regeneration. Moving forward, I think 85 plus, all the gear kind of has that, the non-visual stuff. So that's another reason to go farm this stuff. The TBM gear does not have that. Where is it here? Like this stuff doesn't have any kind of non-visual stuff, or the non-visual clickies. So you're missing out on a bunch of AAs from this that benefit your character in defensive, regeneration and resists. I believe there's one that gives you hit points. So it's definitely a way to go for gear there. I don't get that with the Paragon gear. I would need to get the House of Thule stuff. You'll also notice we're missing a power source still at this point. Now there is a power source we can get from I think the Buried Sea, but it's pretty weak, and I usually ignore it until I ignore the power sources until I would say about 110, and then I'll use my Overseer tokens here, and I'll go buy some from the Overseer. I'll buy the tier 1, I think, power sources from Torment of Velius, and I can use those, I believe, at 110 or 111. So I think we can use those. I might have one on me actually. Come on, close this window. It's so annoying. So at 119 we can use the Lucanite Defender one here. So we need one before that. So I guess if it's that one's 119, we probably can't use the other one until like 114. So we'd have to go back another expansion to whatever that is so we can use it. So there was a lot of options, right? But I wouldn't be using the Defender one on a Mage. I use a Defender one on the Necromancer for the extra stamina and hit points. So a little bit different there. But yeah, that's it. That's everything for the Mage. The multi-bind seems to be doing a lot of damage. In the level 85 videos, I will start bringing out the parser and maybe do some live demonstration video. So I'll do like the setup videos for everybody, and then I'll bring them all together. But you can watch the Hobbs and Friends series, and you can see all the demonstration inside of those about how I play all these guys. But I'm going to try to start having a video at 85 and beyond on these that shows standalone, like me fighting stuff and all that stuff. The training dummy, like, it's nice, but it doesn't do like a target or anything like that. So a lot of the target stuff doesn't work, and so it gets kind of annoying when you're trying to demonstrate target healing when you can't even target a target nuke, right? So it's weird when it comes to that. So that's how I play my level 80 Mage. I feel like it's good. That could be better, I think, but there's some optimization to make as we make our way to 125. And we start getting some new spells and some new AAs that really change some things of how we do things. So it'll be fun. But thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and we'll have a chat. Thank you very much for watching. Please have a fantastic day.